All right, welcome to another episode from the Chart Reader. So this is a major market breakdown. We're going to look at the NASDAQ only, okay? What are we going to do today? Same thing we always do, right? We're going to use the daily and the weekly to see how things are setting up short term. I'll probably look at the monthly if there's enough time, but again, the indices are probably the only one I'll look on the monthly chart. I have my 5 moving averages, the same for the stocks or the same for the indices. And then these have been the only two since June, and you can see how good these have been, right? So I'll talk about that specifically shortly. But yeah, these horizontal support and resistance lines have been pretty key. And then when we're done up here, we'll use the MACD, RSI, and volume as our lower indicators. Hey, if you can please like and subscribe, that would be really good for the YouTube algorithms. Nonetheless, I sincerely appreciate your time. So let's get into it, okay? The story for the last couple of videos has been breaking the 200, right? We have literally been under this 200 moving average since this downtrend a little more than a year ago, roughly January of last year, right? And this was the moment where, it made such a beautiful run. It looked like, right, we were going to lose this death line, my bottom support, kind of start coming to this 10,000 or lower, right? And you can see we actually kissed it back here not that long ago, right? And then it just decided to move all the way to the top line. And I don't actually remember the last time we were up here. Yeah, I started making these videos around June. I do remember that little up run right there. I honestly don't remember that too much right there in September. But yeah, this is, it feels like the first time we've been up here in almost half a year, in all honesty. It actually really was as you looked at the calendar, right? But what am I looking for next, right? Okay, honestly, a couple things. First and foremost, if we break this line, that'll be really good on the weekly charts, and we'll get into the weekly shortly, right? But daily, it kind of looks like we've at least rejected on this line or kind of working our way down, right? And in some ways, that's not too bad a thing, right? Because look, we've been able to use this 8 as a nice bounce point a couple times. Hopefully we can use the 8 again as a nice little bounce point. And look, if we can bring this RSI down a little bit, bring it back down to here, back to this like 30, 40, 50 range, maybe not that low because it's still 70, right? Like let's not go much lower than 50. But yeah, if we can bring the RSI back to 50, bounce on the 8, I think there's a good reason to think we might be breaking that line right there, okay? Otherwise, look, I'll tell you, I do not want to lose the 200, okay? If we lose the 8, all eyes are basically going to be on the 200 or maybe the 20 based on where it is, right? Because if you look, we've actually only used the 20 once, okay? We still haven't had to use the 20. And, I say it often, it'll be easy to see on the weekly, right? There are points, and look, this is perfect. You can see it right here, right? There are points where you use the 8, you lose the 8, but then the 20 does its job and gets you back on track, right? So we still haven't done that on the daily yet, right? So, maybe if the 8 doesn't hold it, the 20 or the 200 would be the next ones, right? But for sure, you don't want to lose that 200. That, in all honesty, is almost surprising that we've broken. But golden cross right there, beautiful thing. Golden cross right there, beautiful thing, right? Actually, a golden cross right there, right? Little one over a big one, little one over these two big ones, little one over the biggest one, right? Those are big accomplishments for sure. Again, I talked about the RSI a little bit. Definitely a little flat, right? And this was on a nicer uptrend. So it looks like the uptrend has stopped and we're kind of going flat, maybe even dropping a little bit, right? MACD seems to still be holding the uptrend. Maybe there's a little bit of a flattening coming, but well in the positive, which is a beautiful thing, right? So again, I kind of talked about it. Hopefully we just let this cool off just a little bit, but good volume right there, right? So I think this is a good amount to talk about on the daily, but again, the big accomplishment was breaking the 200, the last moving average for the first time in a year. That's huge. So what's happening on the weekly? It's interesting actually because this right here was a bit of a cluster, right? You have these two, then this one, then this one, and then the last one is a little far up actually. And I'm again a little surprised to see that this is the first time we're over the 50 in a year, right? So it's look, the daily is 5 times slower, right? So the fact that we got over the 200 here And the fact that we got over the 50 here kind of speaks to that, right? Obviously, 5 times 50 is 250, right? So it's not quite apples to apples. But again, that's kind of how I look at it. If you can get to the 200 on the daily, you should be roughly the 50 on the weekly, right? So look, again, what's happening? We're breaking lines. We're not losing this 200, which is huge, right? The fear was we were losing the 200 on the weekly, but definitely doing our best to get back over. And look, break right there, break right there. We need some good confirmation, right? Where does this line take us? Yeah, if we can close next week at around 12.11, I would love that. I would. It would at least give us confidence that we've broken this 50, okay? Otherwise, if we're going to come down, don't take me any lower than, what is that, 11.820, all right? We definitely want to stay over that 50 on the weekly, and I think that, roughly speaking, is where this might actually, yeah, 11.8. Okay, so that's a little higher to this. So, yeah, I would agree with that. Don't lose this candle by Friday. That would be horrible, right? Hopefully we go roughly this low. By the time we get here, the 8 would hopefully be right here. And then that's where we bounce. That would be a pretty good way to get there, right? So let's see if that plays out. But overall, again, just coming to the weekly, nice little golden cross right there. Good breaks of moving averages, right? Again, if we can get confirmation that we've broken the 50, this is the first time in a year, right? This 20 had moments, right? It couldn't do it there, definitely broke it and came back down there. Another test there before it broke. This is literally the first time on that line, right? So continuing the run might not be as easy as it looks, but I mean, these are some nice indicators down here, right? Keep in mind the MACD is still in the negative on the weekly, right? So again, what helps, I don't really talk about the MACD numbers too much, but yeah, being at the 0 or above is definitely better than negative, right? So if you're 300 MACD, that's definitely way better than negative, even though the green is over the red and it's doing that, right? So just kind of keep that in mind, right? But yeah, if this weekly was at the 0 with that, oh man, it'd be a completely different story for sure. But yeah, I don't know if it's going to be very easy to break this 50 moving average with the confirmation, right? Because we've broken it, but I don't care about one break, right? I need confirmation. And I think that goes for the same thing here. It's going to be really hard to get over this because, again, it's literally been, I mean, yeah, basically, since we really lost it, we've only touched it. Oh, down here. Oh, actually, not that bad. Okay. I take that back a little bit. So we've touched it here, we've broken it here, we've touched it here. So 1, 2, 3, 4. The fifth one might do it. I've always said 5 breaks is my rough number of the one that does it. So yeah, come back down, bounce back up, break that line. That's definitely the goal. What does the monthly look like? And then I think that's good for this NASDAQ review. All right, so look at this, okay? Just months and months and months and months and months and months and months under the 8 until this one, and confirmation so far. Obviously, it's the very beginning of this month, right? So you can't really read too much into it. But we, for the first time, broke the 8 moving average on the monthly. And look, just real quick, you want to be above the 8 on the monthly, not below it. This is a small fraction of how long we've been over it, right? Imagine if we kept going down. I mean, it would have been a brutal bloodbath if this 50 didn't catch us. You know what I mean? So we definitely need confirmation. And look, there's reason to believe if we can crack 12.4, all right, there's reason to believe we might make a run to 13. And, you know, it's still early in the year. I don't know if we're going to actually get over this and stuff. But yeah, I made a year anticipation video, and there was definitely a high to the NASDAQ, and we're getting close to that high. So let's see if we can actually touch 13. After 13, it'll be really interesting to see what happens. But yeah, I'm still relatively bullish. You have to be. You're over all the moving averages. You're still over the 8, right? I'm just kind of anticipating a cool down and a bounce. Hopefully that bounce does some beautiful things. So, hey, if you disagree with anything, throw it in the comments. I am very open to different opinions, right? I'm not here pretending to be the best or perfect. So, again, I sincerely appreciate your time. Have a great one.